you avoid raising a child who is not a picky eater? Well, let me tell you, you got to start young. It turns out that between the age of about 4 to 7 months, there's this thing called a flavor window where your baby will eat almost anything. So let's say you're still breastfeeding or giving them the bottle, and maybe you start some cereal. That's when you want to introduce some single ingredient vegetables, no salt, no sugar, one vegetable at a time, so they really learn to like their spinach or their asparagus or their carrots. Then at about the age of 8 months, really adorable, they start wanting to eat with their fingers. So have some good finger foods. Sweet potato, avocado, little meatballs. Tofu works really well. Bananas, cheese, avocado. Resist the urge to let them have goldfish crackers or chicken nuggets or mac and cheese. These salty, sugary, highly processed foods hijack the taste buds and increase that desire for salty, sugary foods. So they're less likely to want to eat the foods that we want them to eat, and they'll become picky eaters. Now, hold off on sugar till they're about 2 years old, because you don't want to tap into that innate love for sugar too early. There's plenty of time for that. Now, secondly, probably the most important thing you can do for your child is to eat with them. And this happens when they're about a year old. You pull up that high chair to the table and they eat what you eat. No need to cater to them. This is your chance to be a role model. You need ideas? Call me. I got a ton. You do bean burritos, you do chicken soup with carrots, you do salmon, you do Asian stir fry, you do edamame, you do manicotti. They're endless. And if you don't cook, that's okay. You can buy this stuff already prepared. Now, if your kid loves real food, they're much less likely to become what I like to call a mac and cheese-atarian. So now, pasta's okay a couple times a week, but not a couple times a day. And when you do serve pasta, always make sure you serve it with a vegetable. In fact, I had a rule at my house that every lunch and every dinner would include a vegetable. And not just the fallback of broccoli. You want to do, green beans, Brussels sprouts, bell peppers, beets, corn, peas. And as kids get older, you want to make sure they're tasty with a little olive oils, maybe some garlic and an herb. You want a kid who really loves their vegetables, not one who just tolerates them. And that's a real defense against overweight and picky eaters. Now, there is one thing that would make this all likely to not happen, and that is if your child is not hungry at mealtime. What would make them not hungry at mealtime? A constant stream of mindless snacking. In the car seat, at the park. Now, kids need snacks because they have little stomachs, but you know when they're hungry, and you want to be prepared for that. I used to run out of the house with my little almond butter sandwich and a sippy cup of milk. And I just make it out of a little whole grain bread with a cup, and it worked every time. You have protein, you have fiber, you have healthy fats, and it's very, very satisfying. What you do want to do is stay out of that aisle in the supermarket where they sell all those processed crackers and chips, even if they're kale chips. One of the major ingredients here is apple juice. Don't go there. So listen, enjoy your little baby, but feed them wisely. Kids eat what they're familiar with, and it is your job to make sure they're familiar with the right things. It's not that difficult. You can do it, and that is smart eating.